Okay, hello everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about how to build a watch list and the importance of building a watch list and how to integrate that into your daily routine and how to check on particular tickers so that you can be prepared and build a trading plan potentially for the next day and narrow down some of the hot tickers that could potentially make you some profits. So I want to show you today several things. So we have, trading views, what I typically use. Here's my swing trade watch list that you'll see here. And it's sorted by the percent change gainers for the day, all the way going down to percent losers, right? So I have it organized so that I can go through fairly quickly and I can analyze the movements on the day. Now I'm looking at this on a daily. You can also view it on a weekly to identify and establish the long-term trends. But we want to talk about how to get to this point and how to build this into your daily routine. So what you want to do on a daily basis or from time to time is go hunting for stocks. So what I like to use is several websites, one of them being Finviz. It's a free website out there for monitoring the markets. Now they do have an elite subscription mode, which gives you real-time access. But if you're just looking for daily stocks to add to your watch list, you can just use the free version because it's still going to serve the same function. Because it is 15 minutes delayed for the free function. So if you're looking on a daily basis, the free function should serve your purpose. So what I typically do is I go through the main page here, and I'm looking at some of the day's big gainers, right? So here we have one that increased 104%. This one gained 3,000%. Absolutely incredible, right? And I'm typically looking for stocks that are kind of in my wheelhouse. So basically, any stocks that are less than $20 that typically fit into my market cap of at least 50 million to 2 billion. So, for example, this one would not fall into my wheelhouse. I also like to see the shares at least 50 to 100 million public float that's out there. But I'll typically just go through one by one, and I'm just eventually just spot checking, right? So here's one that fits, but it's a lower float, so the movements can be a little too dramatic for my taste. But I'm just going through and I'm looking and I'm identifying clean charts as well. I like to see clean charts. This is this is not a clean chart. We want to see something more like this, right? So this is a clean downtrending chart with, looks like a reversal today, and this is on a daily chart, right? I definitely, that's one of my requirements is having a clean chart. You can kind of predict where it's going to go by looking at the established trend. So anyway, I'm going through one by one, and then what I've done is I've created as part of the screener function that's available in Finviz. You can go and set your own parameters, right? So I've created a screener just for healthcare stocks, and as you can kind of see, I've put some parameters of institutional ownership of at least 50%. I'm looking at market cap under $2 billion. I've identified the healthcare sector. I like to see the short float under 5% as a general rule. RVol or relative volume over 2. Again, price under 20. And then with respect to technicals, I like to see all the 20, 50, and 200 moving averages in the green or bullish above their respective averages. Beta over 1 and the average true range under 1. And so forth. So when I click on, my preset for the healthcare stock, it identified one particular stock here that at least fits all of these categories. So on a daily basis, this is automatically running for me, and it's immediately identifying everything that I put in there, right? And so again, clean chart. It looks like this one's trending up. It looks like there's a channel here, and just in a matter of seconds, I can already identify if this is going to be one that I can put on the watch list or even potentially trade tomorrow, right? The other website that I use is thelion.com. So the Lion is another great website that breaks down, at least on the front page here, the top 15 biggest gainers of the day. So you're certainly going to see some overlap on the Finviz website. So, you can see NRBO is a top gainer, of course. Let's see what else. TTNP, did that make the list over here? No, TERP did, and so forth. So again, you're going to see some overlap, but this is really kind of like a spot check of another website to verify. Now, if you click on See More, you can see the percent change gainers from 104% all the way down to some nominal increases here of about 5.16. So I typically will go through and spot check up until about 10% gainers. And again, I'll go through the same process. I'll put in let's just pick a random one here. So EVLO. So if I type in EVLO, it fits the market cap of at least 50 million. I like to see the float at least 50 million, but I will certainly consider something a little bit less. Again, this is an art and not a science. Clean chart in the sense that it goes in one direction and then swings back up and then comes back down. It's kind of trading in this channel, right, that you see here. And then I just go through. Now, automatically, I see some reds here. I don't like this. I like to see all the SMAs, price action above it. Not enough volume. If I'm going to go bigger size here, I want to make sure that the volume is at least 250 or 500,000. And so immediately I can just rule it out. However, I would certainly put this on my watch list, right? EVLO, I think it already is on there. Yeah, there it is, right? It's already, this made my watch list probably 4 or 5 months ago. Who knows? And I watch it every day. And it looks like they're reporting earnings today, actually, February 12th, 2020. So again, I digress. But the point is you go through and you hunt for these stocks and you eventually put them on your watch list, and then you start watching them every single day. Okay, one of the third and final websites that I go to every single day is Stock Market Watch. Again, a great tool for hunting for stocks. You can narrow it down between pre-market gainers and losers, as well as after-hour or aftermarket gainers and losers. And this just kind of gives me an idea of, okay, if I come in at 5 p.m., for example, on a random weekday, and I want to just do a quick spot check, I can see, wow, NNVC is up 11.34, just over 11% after hours, trading, over 117,000 shares. So what's going on, right? Did news break after hours? Did they report earnings? What is it? So if I just go type this in real quick, you can see it's a New York Stock Exchange stock. It looks like it made some parabolic moves here, really in the last few weeks. It fits my criteria. It's a healthcare stock. Very, very low float. So that's why we're seeing these huge swings in the price. Right, we're just spot checking, but again, we came here to see what the news was. So it looks like Dr. Mac Jawadekar joins the board of directors of Nanovericides Incorporated, and the stock looks like has lost today 7%, but after hours it has gained, as we saw, about 11%. So something's going on. You can always click on it and do some more investigative research. You can read the news. I try to identify if this is fluff news or if it's really news that has legs. Again, the speculation game involves you increasing your odds. So the more odds that you have in terms of news, catalysts and so forth, it's important that you understand that increasing your odds increases your chances of gaining on a particular trade. So if you enter it, that is. So Again, great website. The pre-market function is good too, because if you're awake and you're involved and you're monitoring the market, during pre-market hours, you can automatically identify. Obviously, this one is $569 a share, but you can just look at the volume and you can spot check immediately what's moving, right? We're traders. We want volatility. That's how we make money, right? So there that is. Finviz, the Lion, and Stock Market Watch. So those are my top 3 weapons or tools that I have in my tool belt when I go hunting. Now, after doing this for several days, several weeks, several months, as you can imagine, your list is going to continue to grow. Okay? Now, why is it important to have this watch list? Well, because it becomes kind of like athletes on a fantasy football team, for example. You're going to come through and you're going to monitor their activity and progress or regress in many cases, depending if you're a bull or a bear on any particular trade, on a daily basis, right? So you're going to go through and spot check and just sit and wait until something happens, until you get some sort of signal to recommend that you go into the trade. Now, just because we get a signal on the chart from a technical perspective, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go trade it. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and we're just gonna one by one on a daily basis identify. As you can see here, I created some support and resistance lines. It looks like this one has been trading in a range for quite some time here, and if it approaches this kind of the ceiling or support line and breaks out, we get some significant volume. I would certainly be interested, right? It would automatically catch my eye, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Finviz and I'm going to type in Leaf, and I'm just going to spot check. And even though it's on my watch list, I'm still going to just double check, right? I'm going to go through my process. I'm going to say yes, it's at least 50 million. The float is a little bit lower, but I see red over here in the SMAs, very low volume. I've immediately lost interest. So this just means that it's not ready for me if I'm looking for a breakout pattern, okay? But if it does break out and these numbers kind of fit into the setup, this could potentially be a good play, and it becomes the status. It becomes the stock or ticker of choice for the following day to enter a trade. And then what you would do is you would go through an entire process, right? Similar to the stocks that I call out on any given day. And I would go through this entire process. I would identify the price, which pattern it is. I'd go through, just like we showed you earlier on Finviz, we look at all these indicators. And then in the end, we establish the entry price, the stop loss, and the target. You want to definitely plan the trade and then trade the plan, right? You should never be going into a trade aimlessly, hopelessly, with a gambler's mentality, because you will surely lose. Okay, so again, so I just go through the entire process, and you can certainly sort by losers first. So if you're looking for stocks to short, you can look at some of the day losers and just go through one by one, depending on what your indicators are, your patterns, or your setups. Right now we're in a bullish market. It's continuing to be bullish. So breakouts are working, ascending triangle patterns are working, right? So we want to be looking for these patterns. I am in a particular trade right now, LCTX, which I will, as soon as I exit the remaining shares in my position, I will create a trade recap video, so stay tuned for that. But I did enter this trade not on this false breakout, but on this day right here, February 6th. I did call it out on my site, and since then it's making higher highs and higher lows in a nice little uptrend as we approach earnings here. The company also announced that they're going to be presenting on February 16th at a conference. They're a company that specializes in macular in treatments for macular degeneration. And so a lot of institutional owners are coming in and starting to buy up shares, and we're seeing some significant volume every single day I think today it had an average of 1 million shares traded. Yeah, 1.4 million shares traded, and that's been consistent. So again, how did I find this? Well, it was on my watch list, and every single day I'm just waiting patiently, and I'm just waiting for either a breakout or breakdown. Right? Here's a breakdown. This would have been a great opportunity to short. You get in right here. Well, let's just say right here. Right? It's below the moving averages. It broke a key level. And if you entered right here, for example, even on this day, 3 days after the fact, at 66 cents, 4 days later you can capitalize on 53 cents in terms of buying your shares, buying to cover those shares. So shorting is an advanced strategy, which we won't discuss here. But in terms of looking for bullish, setups and bullish patterns, you definitely want to have a watch list, really for both shorting and buying. But in terms of going long, having a watch list, and in this case it's a swing trade watch list, and watching it every single day for bullish activity. And if you're into short trading, then you can look at some short patterns as well. But the point is this becomes your central command, your headquarters. Your watch list will dictate your daily activities and initiate your initial process, daily processes. Okay, this is where you will derive particular trade ideas to trade for the next day. And then the rest of the process is really just going through the motions and just making sure you find the best and leave the rest, right? So, as a recap, you want to start building a watch list, and you can start by hunting for these stocks, okay? And when you finally build a watch list, your daily process should include going through every single trade, looking for chart indicators or signals, and much like a lawyer or any individual who deals with statistics or logic, you want to build your case. You want to convince yourself why you should or should not enter a particular trade. Then you will go through your process of laying out exactly what your setup is. Lay the case out. Explain it. This will increase your odds. This will make you much more meticulous. The more meticulous you are, the better trader you will be. When you just go into trading and just throw money at a trade because you on a good hunch or you feel good about it, you will lose. This is exactly why 90 to 95% of traders lose. They have a gambler's mentality. You don't want to have a gambler's mentality. You want to have the mentality of a researcher or a statistician or a scientist, right? You definitely want to start thinking in odds because the more meticulous you are and the higher you increase your odds on these plays, the more likely you are to be successful. And that helps your knowledge account. It helps your bank account or your trading account. And also, as equally important, it helps your confidence levels and your confidence account. So with that, I will leave you, and I invite you to sign on to my website, a2zstocks.wordpress.com. Feel free to like and join or follow. And also, we have a YouTube page. Feel free to click on the link to subscribe. And leave a comment. Make some recommendations of things you'd like to hear about. I'd be more than happy to make a video for you guys. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.